one of the reasons is because they don't want to alienate their audiences. You are on one of the biggest, maybe the biggest, certainly one of the biggest liberal podcasts, progressive podcasts, the Young Turks. You've been there for almost 20 years. I was amazed to find that out last night at dinner.
Yeah.
18
dinner
years.
last night. Wow, this lady's dining with Tucker. Are you fucking kidding me? How did she put up with the smell?
Also, it's pretty funny to, for him to glaze her that hard. She's part of one of the biggest, if not the biggest liberal podcast. Like, bro, this ain't fucking 2016 anymore. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Vanguard's coverage, but we've, illustrated time and time again how they're far from being in their heyday. They're almost entirely irrelevant these days. And despite Cenk and Anna's desperate attempt to claw back to relevance by getting a new right-wing audience, they've totally failed. They've never been less relevant.
And look at how stoked she is to be stroked off by Tucker Carlson. Like, oh, just pat me on the head, Tucker. I'm so happy that this white nationalist wants to, celebrate me and my politics. Yeah.
I don't know how old you are, but I was shocked by that. And it's one of the biggest, and you are one of the biggest. And maybe our audience doesn't know that.
One of the biggest stars that's never been able to sustain a solo show. I don't think so. Yeah.
This because they don't watch liberal podcasts, but you're one of the biggest. So you start saying stuff like this, you're gonna lose audience. You're gonna lose money, like actual money.
Yep.
Has that happened? Do you worry about that happening?
Yeah, that's happened. Let me just say that for whatever anyone might think about Cenk Uger, who's the founder and CEO of the Young Turks, he's a very, he's sometimes brash, combative, loud, and that turns people off. And I get that. They might not agree with his politics, but I just want to talk about who he is as a person, because if it weren't for Cenk, I wouldn't have the confidence to publicly admit I'm wrong, or the confidence to be genuine and honest about what I really think. Because he provides a platform for you to actually say what you think and not get punished for it if it hurts the business. And it did hurt.
Tell that to Francesca.
Yeah, and a ton of other people that have been fucking fired or felt the need to leave because they were being viciously exploited. Like our friend Pastor Ben Dixon, who came on the show to talk about how you guys fucked him out of money that he was rightfully owed in a contract, and then he had to walk away so he wouldn't continue to be exploited by this company. I mean, over and over again, we've covered the ways in which they've screwed over their employees, but also, straight up censored people for disagreeing with them, like Francesca, who you mentioned, who was quite literally publicly fired on the main show by Cenk for daring to be disrespectful. And the disrespect in question was her saying that Cenk's brain was broken and that he was pandering to MAGA too much, right? She was frustrated about that because she actually gives a shit about the stuff that she talks about for a living. It's not just a fucking game to her, right? But she got let go. We could name other people too. Benny, remember? Or 100%. Bonnie, I think that's what she goes by now. But either way, Bonnie felt the need to leave because of the environment. Cenk would not facilitate a debate in that instance. He would not explore the disagreements that existed there. So this only applies to Anna. If that's true, it only applies to Anna.
Yeah, Francesca's not even allowed on John Iadorola's show, The Damage Report. And one other thing that Francesca shared with us, Cenk, he cares so much about his employees in the work environment, was he offered her a contract. So she moved from New York all the way to Los Angeles, right, with her husband to, pack up all of their stuff, assume you're going to have this income because Los Angeles ain't cheap to fucking live in. All right. And then he's like, actually, I'm sorry, that contract that I offered you that you signed already, we can't honor it, which is absolutely a non-starter if you're not a saint like Francesca, who was like, I don't want to get in a weird legal battle with this network that is doing good work and all that kind of stuff. That's exactly how they positioned themselves so that they could exploit people, right? He did the same thing to his own flesh and blood, Hassan. Hassan talked about how he was basically stolen from. Like, he was building up all these clients. He was doing the sales operation, but he wasn't seeing any of his commission checks because Cenk kept it because it was his nephew. We could go on and on and on. Let's talk about how they sold out their studio. They said, we were going to raise $400,000 from our audience to build the People Studio, right? A People Studio funded by you guys and absolutely free of corporate influence. Then they renamed it the Poly Market Studios because they spent their money like shit. All right. It's just crazy.
Yeah. The Poly Market populists.
The business.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lost a portion of our audience for sure.
Based on what you said?
Based on what I said. And more importantly,
what did you say that alienated people?
I mean, okay, I would say that the straw that broke the camel's back was I agreed to go talk to Glenn Beck. He invited me to go on his podcast. You know, I obviously have disagreements with Glenn Beck, but I was actually shocked at how much we agreed on. You know, we talked about war, we talked about all sorts of things, and there were areas of agreement. It was a pleasant conversation, but I didn't capitulate my values at all. Just because I'm talking to him doesn't mean I've done anything wrong. My views are my views, his views are his views. We had a conversation. Well, I come home thinking nothing of it. And one of our employees, someone who's a contributor to TYT or was a contributor to TYT, decided to take that as an opportunity to make a big spectacle about the fact that he's quitting because I decided to speak to Glenn Beck, who's like a threat to black bodies or something. I don't know, but he just,
Is Glenn Beck a threat to black bodies?
I have no idea. Is he?
God.
I mean, I didn't get.
Talking about Mayor Mondale, who's been on our show, by the way. He came on right in the aftermath of this episode when he left TYT. By the way, he doesn't fucking need TYT. He's literally the mayor of a fucking town in South Carolina or North Carolina. I don't know.
One of the Carolinas.
Yeah, either way, base dude, super impressive community leader, an activist in his own right, a powerful communicator. Again, this guy doesn't fucking need the Young Turks. But again, Anna, when she has this change in her values and politics, it's like her being honest and living her truth and all this stuff. When it's Mayor Mondale, you know, deciding to make a statement, it's a display of fucking virtue. It's nothing but him just making a spectacle, in her words. Like, no, bro, like that's how he felt. He wasn't just doing that for money. He didn't really make any money off of that. It's not like he used that to launch some new media operation. No, he used that as an excuse to say, all right, enough is enough. I've hung around here a little bit too long. I don't really want to continue to hang out with people who get beers with Charlie Kirk and do friendlies with Glenn Beck while they meanwhile shit on my friends like Francesca and throw Sam and Emma under the bus in the next sentence. That's not really my crowd. I don't really want to fuck with you anymore. That's all Mayor Mondale did, right? So it's crazy for her to, again, describe that as, oh, he created a spectacle.
Oh, yeah. It also fucking nuts because she completely leaves out part of the critical context there, which was that she had a viral audio moment where she's on a podcast and she talks about how she's uncomfortable around people, implying non-white people, because she doesn't want to do anything that offends them. And she basically talks about how she can't be comfortable around non-white people, right? Like, what kind of a dog? Yeah, what kind of a dog whistle is that? Like, how would that make you feel? Oh, I can't be comfortable around you because of the color of your skin? Are you fucking crazy? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be around her either. And then if I saw her going chumming it up with Glenn Beck, a fucking evangelical Christian nationalist, yeah, I would start to have fucking questions too.
I don't think Glenn Beck's much of a threat to anyone, to be honest with you. He might have some ideas people don't like, but okay.
But it was nothing that you specifically said. It wasn't like
nothing that I said. I mean, no one was citing anything I said during that interview that upset them, that was so offensive that
we've literally reacted to it line by line and disagreed with you constantly throughout it as you rolled over on critical left-wing issues.
Yeah, 100%. Also, it's like, cut it out with this fucking gaslight. And obviously people are upset about the massive change in your tone. When they started being a fan of you and your content, they liked the fact that you would go into the Lion's Den to debate these idiots and fucking, you know, disagree with them. Now they're upset when you go into the same Lion's Den, but this time to share a snack with the lion, to have a cup of tea or a glass of beer with the lion. It's like, that's not really the vibe. You know, I'm not really interested in that. You know, it's not really worth it for me to spend my time watching a conversation with Glenn Beck unless Glenn Beck is getting destroyed, unless he's at very least getting challenged and like, you know, held to account on some of his worst opinions. I don't really have enough time to sit around watching people go in there for a friendly to chat about, you know, their mutual hatred of the progressive left.
No, and it's also hilarious because in the react along that we did, where she, you know, basically just nodded along in agreement and was all chummy with Glenn Beck, we found old Young Turks videos of her going fucking ham and Cenk going absolutely fucking ham on Glenn Beck in the back and making fun of Blaze TV and roasting it and identifying it as what it was, which was a right-wing propaganda machine that should be mocked and derided instead of fucking celebrated and collaborated with.
Yep, 100%. In the case of Glenn Beck, it's not even like a good right-wing propaganda outlet. It's like the lowest fucking hanging fruit, the most slop fucking low IQ bullshit for the dumbest conservatives out there. Like, again, Tucker looks like a sophisticated fucking genius compared to Glenn Beck.
It was worthy of like publicly condemning me and making a big spectacle about how I can't work here because of Anna. And she spoke to this dangerous man.
Did Beck say anything like so over the top that you were supposed to respond to it or something?
No. I mean, Glenn Beck.
He's a pretty moderate guy, actually.
He's not a moderate guy. What the fuck, Anna?
I mean, he might have some views that aren't moderate, but we didn't talk about any of those things. Like the conversation was really not offensive at all, in my opinion. But
they didn't cite anything. He didn't endorse Hitler or anything.
It was just the fact that I spoke to him. But,
wow.
Unfortunately, when you have someone make a public spectacle about quitting and making it seem as though I had done something so wrong, it signaled to a portion of our audience like, oh, maybe Anna isn't who she says she is. Maybe Anna is like a secret, like far right winger or Nazi or I don't know.
How long had you been at the show at this point?
This fucking chick, she literally redeclared herself unaligned, publicly trashed the left, publicly burned her bridge with basically every former left-wing colleague of hers over fucking mild pushback from very polite individuals like Emma Vigeland. We're not talking about people like us that went full, gutter guard, let's trash the Young Turks. No, we're talking about Emma Vigeland. We're talking about fucking Emma Vigeland, someone who maybe made a joke at Anna's expense one time after the birthing person tweet, but that was it. Persona non grata. Get the fuck out of my esteem, just like us with Breonna Joy Gray. It's like, come on, dude. Come on. It's just such a fucking gaslighter.
Yeah, it's crazy. She has the zero accountability part of conservatism down already.
17 and a half years. It wasn't
so
too
that's
long
deep
ago.
Cover. So you've been a secret Nazi for 17 and a half years.
Yeah, I'm really good at it.
I'm sorry to interrupt again, but the reality is she just said, oh, I've changed my mind about defunding the police earlier in the episode. I was wrong about X, Y, and Z. So yeah, when you spend 19 years giving progressive analysis and then you come out and you were like, oh, I actually lied to you guys. I don't actually believe any of that. Like, I didn't have the courage to say that everything was a lie that I was saying. And now I've actually just found out that I'm a real deep down right winger and I'm a NIMBY asshole and I hate seeing homeless poor people and I want more cops on the street and yada, yada, yada. I can't handle the thought of going to the same bathroom as a trans woman. Like these kinds of issues. Then yeah, you did change. So you can't turn around and be like, no, I didn't change at all. You literally in this podcast confessed to your boss giving you the courage to change and say you were wrong.
Yeah.
Fun game, baby.
Yeah. But
so I'm sorry to laugh.
Let me just say this. I started working, like as you mentioned, I've been there for 18 years. Started working there in 2007. Okay.
How old were you, Anna?
When TYT was basically a startup that no one knew about. The revenue for TYT at the time came from Air America. Mm-hmm. Air America had gone bankrupt a few months after I started working for them. And Cenk Uger is amazing because he's like, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to find a way to keep this company afloat. And he did, to his credit. But I can't even explain to you how much of a grind it was building TYT. It was a grind, long hours, like blood, sweat, and tears, but we believed in it and we loved it. And I actually have like great memories of those years. We barely made any money at all, but we believed in what we were doing. And there was something really exciting about that. I went through all that. I helped build what TYT is today. And the audacity of anyone coming in as a contributor or anything else to tell me who I can and can't talk to that's offensive. That's offensive. Okay, I earned this. You're not going to come into my house and tell me what my beliefs should be, who I should talk to. F off. Good.
Gaslighting garbage. First of all, you can't fucking hire people and then be shocked when they have opinions that aren't the same as yours. Oh, I hired you to be a contributor on this network that supposedly fetishizes fucking independent thought, and now I'm going to act, shocked and fucking scold you when you dare to come down on something differently than I do. That's fucking crazy and stupid. I mean, and also, again, it's not like people just got pissed off because she talked to the wrong person. The Young Turks have always had conversations with people they disagree with, including Tucker fucking Carlson. I remember in literally 2015, maybe it was 2016, Cenk debated Tucker Carlson at, what was it called? The Politicon. which no longer exists for some
we could have gotten
reason.
invited to Politicon if
I
it
know,
still
it's a
existed,
huge
man.
bummer.
What the fuck?
I wish that they would bring Politicon back. But either way, do you guys remember that in chat? The Tucker v. Cenk Politicon debate? And let me tell you why that debate sticks out in my mind, because it actually wasn't that feisty. It was actually weirdly one of the Cenk debates where he did find like weirdly a lot of common ground with Tucker, and like he ended up kind of having to like explain a bunch of things to Tucker in a weird way, but it actually was like a pretty chill conversation. And my point is that no one fucking canceled the Young Turks for that. No one fucking cared. It's okay. No one is like, oh, you just had a conversation with someone I disagreed with. No, it's about this trend. It's about a very clear ideological trajectory that they were on and that they are on that people have pointed out. But no, stop with this stupid straw man. Obviously, you can talk to whoever you want. Obviously, you can go on anyone's show. It's about what you say on that show. It's about the tone. And it's about what you say, frankly, about the fucking rest of the left when you're behind our back. Because back in the day, you weren't shitting all over the fucking left every time you talk to some of these people. And like I said, Cenk literally had a conversation with Tucker, and no one canceled him. TYT was at its most popular at that point.
100%. And the only thing I'll add is she talks about how much pride she has in what she built at the Young Turks, right? And she talks about, nobody has the right to tell me anything because I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. It's like, dude, you are the one that is throwing your own legacy under the fucking bus. You are the one that is saying, oh, all those ideas that I did espouse while I was putting in that blood, sweat, and tears, fuck all of those ideas. And also fuck every single other person that agreed with me. And fuck you if you listened to our show back then and you don't agree with me now. And fuck you if you care about homeless people. And fuck you if you're trans. And fuck you if you disagree with me about the police. And fuck you and fuck you and fuck you. And then do you know what you do? You say, oh, Tucker, let's get some dinner. Let's pop a bottle. Let's have a good time. Oh, Glenn Beck, sure. Oh, Adam and Sitch, I'm also scared of black people, right? Like, that's what you did. That's what you did, right? And we were all like, what the fuck happened to you? Because sometimes we still get flashbacks, right? Like the Pierce Morgan appearance where you were like, I'm not going to let you filibuster, bitch, because that was actually something that brought conviction out of you. And I could see, wow, this was Anna when she was fiery. This was her when she, actually wanted to go scorched earth for the left. What you did was you changed all of that about yourself and you denigrated the work that everybody celebrated you for. And so, yeah, now we're all pissed off.
Yeah, 100%. And also, when it comes to Ben Dixon, when it comes to Mayor Mondale, these people are totally reasonable. They would have agreed to a debate on air if you had given them the opportunity to say like, hey, it's totally legitimate to have these concerns. The whole point of this show and the whole point of this network is to be a family. And guess what? Sometimes families fight. Families don't always get along. So let's come on the main show together and hash this out like a family. They always want to talk about the TYT family. Well, that's how a fucking family would act. Nope. Instead, they basically told those people to fuck off or, ostracize them to the point where they themselves had to say, yep, adios. I'm no longer going to fucking, chill here. But all these people, including Bonnie, who I mentioned earlier, literally tried to set up debates with Cenk and Anna. Francesca tried to set up a debate with Cenk and Anna, and they told, nope, we're not interested in your dissent. So, yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy. But again, they like hanging out with Tucker and they like getting dinner with Tucker. Because to these fucking rich elitist assholes, nothing actually matters. Of course, Tucker's not going to take a disagreement personally because none of this actually matters to him. You know what I'm saying? They're all just in this fucking club where they get to perform whatever political ideology they inhabit and then afterwards go get beer together.
Oh, that is so important. So important. None of this touches him. That's why he can put on a mask and be like, oh, I don't even care about all this, sweetheart. Like, oh, sweetheart, come on. Like, that's Tucker behind closed doors. He's like, oh, you want to talk to me about all of this? That's work. I don't go up to random people on the street and ask them about their job. Oh, hey, what kind of paperwork are you filing? That's how he would talk to you about this. I swear to God, I could read Tucker like a book. Okay. It's all for show for him. That once you read the transcript of his personal texts and all the shit that came out after the Dominion lawsuit, you realize he is going out there because he thinks the conservatives are dumb as fuck and he's a racist and he doesn't give a shit about anything but himself. And he's just going out there and he's spewing the line that he thinks will get the most clicks and attention. He always has.
Yep. And of course, Anna's never going to bring that up in this conversation or any conversation.
Yep.
Riddance, go. I'm not going to be censored by anyone. Not my audience, no one on the right. I don't care.
So sometimes when people sell products on TV.
But you also are making a point about the guy you work with, you started the company, owns the company, who even after some of your audience bolted over this, he didn't call you in and say, knock it off?
No, never. That's not who Cenk is. And by the way, I mean, he's had hosts on our network who he vehemently disagrees with.
Who he fired.
And
unless they support Israel, in which case he's willing to let that disagreement slide.
And he's had other hosts come in and like demand that those hosts get fired because of what they're saying. Oh, it's offensive. And Cenk's like, no, we don't do that here. And I think what informs Cenk's behavior, honestly, is the fact that at one time he was a self-identified Republican. This is when he was in college and stuff.
Yes.
And he and I have like a lot of these heart-to-hearts because I have these days when I am down about everything that's transpired because I do feel like it's unfair to paint me in a certain light just because you don't like the people I'm talking to. But whenever I need like a little bit of a pep talk, he'll mention what it was like as a college Republican. And he's like, Anna, it was unbearable because they wouldn't let me talk in class. Like they would do everything possible to prevent me from being able to speak.
Who's they?
Like other students or professors who didn't like his point of view.
Okay, liberals.
Yeah, liberals,
hilarious?
yeah.
When Anna's all pissy and pissed off, Cenk literally has to revert to his Republican college era to relate to her fucking petty, narcissistic insecurity. He's like, when I was in college as a shithead fucking Republican and all these SJW liberals wouldn't let me talk. Yeah, I bet that's exactly how you feel now.
When my entire worldview was defined by the fact no women wanted to have sex with me, this is how I felt isolated and angry too. I also was pissed at the world. It's like, that is nuts, man. That is truly nuts. And he must have gone to a different college than me because I remember a lot of Republican shitheads talking in school.
I'm pretty sure Cenk went to like fucking like not Harvard, but maybe Penn.
Oh, wait, he went to Wharton. That's right. Didn't he go to the same? Doesn't he have the same? Because that's Penn State.
I forget. I think he did. Yeah.
And that's also where Trump went.
Yeah, but I'm like, it's not like there were only fucking liberals there. There's a bunch of fucking elitist, kids of like Wall Street bankers and shit. Like, you don't think there was at least a couple other conservatives in the Young Republicans Club or whatever the fuck that Cenk was part of, writing newspaper articles about how the Armenian genocide never happened? Like, yeah, bro, it doesn't sound like you were being silenced. You literally were able to print your fucking genocidal bullshit in the college paper. But either way, it is so funny that again.
What? Okay, if he went to Wharton, I'm calling cap on this story. I'm calling cap on this story because I went to fucking business school and it wasn't no fancy ass, I have to have $1 million daddy business school like Wharton. All right, it was the Block Business School that was named after Henry Block, the guy that founded H&R Block. All right, that was our big donor at my college. And every motherfucker that was in the business school was a Republican. And this was already in the Trump era when it wasn't cool to be a Republican. They'd be like, I'm a traditional Republican. Sometimes Trump gets carried away. And those were the kinds of assholes that I was going to class with. No fucking way you went to Wharton in the 90s and they wouldn't let Republicans talk. That's cap. He has to make up stories and lie to Anna to relate to her.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it's just hilarious that Anna would even share that embarrassing tidbit.
And that really, really frustrated him. And so now, as the CEO of the Young Turks, he's not going to turn around and censor other hosts because he disagrees with them.
He literally,
a lot of people do, though.
A lot of people do, but to his credit, he doesn't. And that's why I've been there for 18 years.
He literally fucking fired Francesca publicly. He did it publicly. Who does that?
Yeah.
There have been other opportunities to make I love when people call me a grifter. I could have been a millionaire by now. I'm not a millionaire because I want to speak my mind, and TYT has been the only place that's allowed me to do it.
I'm also not a millionaire because I want to speak my mind. I could be a billionaire. Fuck, if I just had no morals, you know what I'm saying? I could be the first trillionaire. The only reason, I've taken this poverty oath and live, among the unwashed masses is because of how fucking honest I want to be and how much I value the ability to speak my mind without being censored by the liberal masses.
And what's crazy about this is that that's just simply not true because she went to go work at Her Take, a valuetainment network run by PBD, and I guarantee you he does not have the same ethical compass that Anna just described right there. That dude's about dollars and cents. All right, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, and again, she couldn't take a little bit of pushback from her left by people that had worked with her for fucking years. But what she will do is go humiliate herself on that show and have losers throw tampons at her when she fucking makes sense on occasion.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, most people.
Tucker, couldn't be me, dummy. Are you kidding me? Like, Tucker wanders around like an anti-war activist and hero, and people pretend that he was like, we know Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Like, this dude's been on cable for a long time, bro. Literally cheerled for the Iraq war. He'll say fucking anything. He has no soul.
People don't host shows, so they don't know the feeling. I have hosted shows, so I do know the feeling. If your audience starts to move out from under you, boy, that is, because that's your strength, that's your core, that's your revenue, of course. But more than that, that's your moral backing. Like you know, they may not like what I'm saying, but my people do. My audience does. And so if they bolt in meaningful numbers, boy, there's nothing scarier. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it is scary. I'm not going to lie about that. I mean, being scared didn't deter me, but I was more concerned about what it was going to do to the company overall, because if things were bad enough and we didn't have enough revenue to keep every employee, people were going to get fired or laid off. And I would really struggle with the guilt. I would feel responsible for that. And so I'm glad that didn't happen. And we're rebuilding, and it's a dream come true for me, because I want to build an audience of open-minded people who aren't going to like run for the hills the second they hear a point that they disagree with.
Or that they haven't heard before.
That's kind of a fucking contradiction. You want an open-minded audience that won't criticize you when they disagree with you? They're not very open-minded. That sounds like a fucking cultish audience. Oh, I want an audience so open-minded that they never push back and that they never get it all, you know, upset when they just. I don't mind that personally. Like, we have people in our audience that are like, fuck you, if we say something that they disagree with about Ukraine or what. There's a couple different hot topics, right, that people get pissed off. AOC, when we criticized her, we saw some people that are like, you're tearing down the left. Or I don't give a fuck. You're more than welcome to come back to our audience the next day and the next day after that. And, you know, as long as you're like not just a totally fucking unhinged barbarian, yeah, we welcome disagreements. I can't imagine wanting an open-minded audience that also never dares to disagree with me. Like, I don't want a fucking sycophantic audience. Obviously, I like when people say, Gavin's on fire today, or, you know, Zach made a great point. But like, no, I actually don't want an audience that's just overwhelmingly sycophantic, you know, that never disagrees with us. I like having an audience that thinks for itself, a genuinely open-minded audience.
Oh yeah, we just debated with chat the other day about our Jubilee take. We were like, I was building it like, you can choose not to go on Jubilee, choose not to watch Jubilee, but we remember Apocalypse, we remember, you know, the big internet purges. Like, we're not gonna ever champion demonetization. Like, that's, you know, flying too close to the sun for us, yada yada yada. Some people had takes about that, a lot of pushback, but that is what it is. You know what I mean? That's how you have an honest relationship with your audience. Like, you're never going to agree with anybody 100% of the time. Gavin and I don't even agree 100% of the time.
Yep. And also, I respect you guys. Like, if one time I came out with a take that like 80% of our audience was like, yo, dude, that was fucked up, like, don't say that again.
We do have a take that's like that.
Either way, my point is, we actually do fucking listen to, you know, pushback, and you know, sometimes we'll stand our ground and be like, fuck you, we have to burn down our whole fucking channel, or, you know, but for the most part, like, if overwhelmingly you guys feel a certain way, or, you know, are like really upset about something, we do take that into consideration, you know. Like, we do actually listen to you guys because we actually respect your opinions, and we don't want to have a show, you know, where we're just like fucking pissing off everyone constantly, because then you're just a contrarian who doesn't actually have a real ideological core. You just thrive on constantly pissing off your audience and constantly triggering people. It's like, no, that's not true. And it's okay to admit that you're wrong, or to say, I didn't think about something that way.
Oh yeah, 100%. People are bringing up my Nirvana sucks take. That was the one I was mentioning earlier.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of that where if you get past the initial shock, like, you'll say something, be like, well, first of all, you're not allowed to say that. Second,
but shout out to Boxy Brown, because that dude has been in our chat for a long time. He means it when he says he likes us and he doesn't agree with us. This dude has defended Anna a bunch of times. I think his name was Chalmers at one point in our chat.
Oh, Kemp Chalmers.
Chalmers, that's right. Yeah, that dude goes back with us. I fuck with that guy.
And he's like, you just doxed me. Fuck you.
Sorry.
I've never heard any.
The witness protection program. I'm trying to distance myself from Kemp Chalmers.
I always remember that because I think of Mario Chalmers, and then I'm like, it's a little bit different than that.
But he say that, and I kind of hate you for saying something new, but I do think that wears off after a moment, and people are like, well, actually, is that crazy? Is that hateful? I don't think it is. And you can kind of convince them after that.
You have a decision to make. You can either build a niche audience. And I think that's the worst option because a niche audience wants to be catered to, and you have to be very careful to follow a very specific script. I'm not interested in that. And I think that I personally went through.
I just want to be able to go wherever the winds are blowing and change my opinion and basically do a totally ideological 180 whenever it's convenient. I want to be able to get away with that. And I really fucking hate it when people call me out for it. Literally.
An era of being a little bit radicalized on the left. And I regret that because I unwittingly did build a bit of a niche audience. But those folks.
She regrets doing her show on Jack, but too many socialists tuned in. That was weird.
But what do you mean radicalized?
I totally bought the narrative that like everyone on the right's racist, everyone on the right is greedy, that kind of stuff.
So Trump term 1.
I mean, everyone on the right that you've talked to is fucking racist. You know what I'm saying?
And greedy.
What?
And greedy.
Yeah, and a fucking greedy piece of shit. Yeah, like 100%. Everyone that great screenshot of Anna, by the way. But like, she's like, I thought everyone was, racist. It's like literally everyone you've had a conversation with on the right, from this fucking piece of shit Tucker Carlson, who we found out from Dave Rubin that he goes to a super rich person's club where they exclusively have black people dressed up like slaves serving the rich white people.
That was one of the craziest things I'd ever. If you made Dave Rubin uncomfortable with that shit, could you imagine how fucking weird it was?
Exactly. We literally heard that fucking straight from the horse's mouth. That Tucker Carlson goes to a fucking like weird, plantation kind of club where like black people serve the rich white people, and it very intentionally is supposed to evoke like, that fucking period of time. Yeah. Like we literally fucking talked about that. So Tucker's racist. I don't think Anna's denying that. I mean, I don't hear her fucking talking about it. She's not going to address it. That's for sure. She's going to pretend like, oh, like I used to think this, but it's like, you're literally talking to a fucking racist Republican right now. What about Glenn Beck? You don't think he's racist? He is. Who else has fucking Anna talked with? If Ann Coulter, remember when Ann Coulter went on her take? Racist. Tommy Lahren, racist. Megyn Kelly literally got famous for saying that Santa Claus is white. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they kind of are for the most part, at least a little bit fucking racist.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Everyone just got hysterical about Trump.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
That was the era that I'm not proud of. And
you were not proud of your era where you stood up to the fascist in fucking charge of our country, dog? Yeah. What? That is the thing you have to be proud of. That was what we all fucked with you for, was that you were like, yeah, fuck you, I am better than you. I didn't vote for this fascist to be in the White House. And I was like, you know what? You're not a politician. You don't have to be nice to these people. You're spitting, dog. Like, that was her golden era. Yeah.
Was basically building my own prison, and I didn't realize it. And what I mean by that is once you have a niche audience, you're not allowed to deviate from a very specific and narrow ideology. And I don't want that. I'm not an ideologue. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. I'm willing to recalibrate on policy if I see it implemented and it's not working correctly. I ultimately just want truth. I want justice, and I want a country that represents its people. That's what I want. That's my.
What a bold fucking ideology. Truth, justice, and a country that represents its people. That sounds like fucking, Captain America or something, like truth, or what is it? Truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah.
Or something. I think that's Superman, but either way, very vague, very unaligned of you, Anna. What's your politics? Oh, I want truth and justice and the American flag, baby. What the fuck?
I'm wondering if she would support good things and oppose bad things. I don't know. World peace, for the children.
Oh my God. It's so fucking cringe.
My core.
Do you feel like it is bridgeable? Like there's so much anger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and by the way, I do think the immigration thing and the crime thing sort of obscure it. Like the real fight.
The only funny thing about this, by the way, the only funny thing about Anna going on this show, or the only good thing about it, because there's a lot of funny things about it, is that Jimmy Dore has to be pissed. Because Jimmy was fucking palling it up with Tucker for a while. Not only on, on shit like this, but he would get invited on Tucker's actual Fox News show.
Oh, yeah.
Like on a fairly regular basis back in the day.
Yeah.
And now it seems like Tucker is more friendly with Anna. I don't remember the last time he had on that washed up drunk fucking hack loser piece of shit Jimmy Dore. So Jimmy must be like, fuck you, like, because I think he still hates TYT. I think he still hates Cenk and Anna.
Oh, I'm sure he does. That's all that keeps that dude going these days is his own fucking bitterness.
Yeah, he's probably like, why didn't Tucker ask about the time that Anna tried to cancel me?
Yeah, literally. I bet he'll make a video about it. Tucker talks with fraud, Ana Kasparian. Wow, and Tucker hasn't been texting me back. I don't know. I think he got a new phone number or something because he's not calling me anymore. Man. I gotta tell him about the space lasers and the time warps and the black hole travel.
Oh yeah, the plane that went into the wormhole.
Yeah, fucking crazy stupid shit that he's into now.
Educated whites, like they're the ones who really hate each other.
Really?
I think that.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I think it's I mean, I just know from my own experience, I often say this, but they called me a racist for many, many years. And I would always say if I was racist, I would just admit it because like there are worse things. But I'm not, and
that's your audience now. That's your boy, Anna. That's your man.
Like, I mean, I guess there are worse things, but like, I mean, that's about it. That's pretty bad. That's pretty evil.
Dude.
Being just admitted racist. Like, I guess you could like, what the fuck?
Especially because Tucker's mind isn't like, this guy occasionally makes a microaggression. He's a racist. Like, we're all racist at our like
worse things. It's like literally almost every like of the major human atrocities was committed or justified with racism.
Literally all of them.
Yeah, they've almost all been justified with fucking racist ideologies, talking points, yeah, seems pretty bad, bro.
I would get so hassled always by the same demographic. And I would always say to my wife, no black person's ever yelled at me. In fact, I've been hugged by a lot of black people. It's just a fact. I'm sorry. It's just.
I've been hugged by a black guy, so I wouldn't call me racist, okay?
And again, we found, no wonder they don't yell at you. That's because they're all your fucking servants. We literally found that out from Dave Rubin, that you go to clubs where all the help is black because you want to pretend like you're in the fucking antebellum South or whatever the fuck, bro. Like, yeah, of course they're not going to yell at you.
Oh, it's true. And they don't seem to think I'm a racist, but it's always middle-aged white women who were yelling at me at Logan Airport.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what is that? No, I'm not whining. I mean, I don't really care,
no,
but it's just interesting. And so I think it's almost like fratricidal. It's like professional class whites who read the New Yorker, read the New York Times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to find that Dave Rubin clip while we keep watching this because some people don't believe it exists. It does.
Oh, it exists.
They're truly angry at each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've just noticed this.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's propaganda and this thought that certain things are way worse than they really are, or that.
Bro, things are fucking bad, dog. People are getting black bagged off of the streets. Okay. We're literally doing a starvation campaign that is going to impact hundreds of thousands of people. Okay. We are literally killing people on a scale I had never seen in my life, right? As a conscious adult human, I'm aware that we did really bad shit when I was, a young person, but the way that we're all watching it in fucking 1080p on our phones every single fucking day, dude. Okay. Donald Trump shredding people's constitutional rights, just everything one after the fucking next, getting rid of the Department of Education. I could go on and on and on. All these things. That's why people are pissed off. That's why people are mobilized. That's why people are outraged. That's why people are pissed off at guys like Tucker Carlson who helped usher in this era of madness.
Yep. And again, before we go back to this, because there's a little bit more, let's take a look at this from Dave Rubin, the moment that I keep referencing. Let's take, because apparently Tucker's shocked that anyone would think he's racist.
So you were quite right about the strange racial dynamic over at the Gasparilla Inn, and every moment you're there, it becomes like more and more bizarre.
Yes, it's difficult to deny that there is a sort of a near 100% white customers, black staff.
Jillian, have you ever been to this place, Gasparilla Island?
No.
So it's Southwest Florida. That's where Tucker lives, actually. And the Gasparilla Inn is like their like elite place. And I just did this event there last night, and the staff was 100% black and the clientele was 100% white. It was like
That's odd.
to the point that it was like extremely bizarre. Extremely
uncomfortable. Yeah, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Weird,
Look at how they all
man.
react too. Like none of them have a single bit of like character or morality or ethic. Like Russ was like, "Oh yes, I've been there. It's quite difficult. You know, it's unbecoming to be seen there because people might judge. No fucking instinct to be like, what the fuck? Yeah, fuck these assholes. Like, let's go to the press. Like, let's make a big fucking scene about this because I have a bunch of celebrity and I want to expose this horrible fucking thing that's happening and the racist bastards that continue to enjoy this replica of the antebellum South. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. Either way, crazy that he just spilled that tea on Tucker and was like, "Oh yeah,
Like their perceived threats, I think, aren't real to the extent that they think it's real. And by speaking out and by confronting you and by doing what you're referring to, I think they get a sense of I'm doing something about it.
Right? No, I get it. No,
Yeah.
I'm not even attacking them. It's just interesting to me. Because it's clear, it's totally real in their minds.
It is, of course,
it's not just performative. It's like I felt rage before. So, and as you so eloquently,
He can't fathom. That's what's crazy about all of this, guys. Neither of them can fathom that politics are real for some people, right? Like they can't imagine what it's like to have it actually be high stakes for you. High stakes enough for you to be like, dude, I see you in public. I have to be like, what the fuck is the matter with you? For Tucker, it's so performative. It's so insincere. It's so removed from whatever the fuck he does in his day-to-day life, the character he plays when he goes on his broadcast, that he doesn't even understand why somebody would be pissed off at what comes out of his mouth because he can't fathom actually believing or caring about anything.
Yep, 100%. That's what's crazy about Tucker. It's also fucking fake with him. It's all just this phony act. It's this fucking facade. He's like pretending to be all like shocked about the fact that people think he's a racist or would get upset at him in public or that people want to call him out on his massive fucking inconsistencies and hypocrisies throughout his career. It's like, bro, you're a fucking actor. You literally admitted it in court to get out of fucking defaming the voting machine company or whatever.
Dominion, yeah.
And again, it's just crazy for Anna to sit there and not point any of that out. Obviously, if you're a normal person who like back in the 2000s, you were really terrified after 9/11 and you were watching too much cable news. I get it. Like some people, they got whipped up into a frenzy and they supported the invasion of Iraq only for a couple years later to realize that, oops, that we were lied. Right.
And all those people voted for Obama.
Right. But if you were one of the people that was doing the line, like Tucker Carlson, then yeah, I'm not going to look at you with the same level of charity as I do like my grandfather who fucking not that this is actually the case with my grandfather, but just some random person IRL who got duped, right? Yeah,
my whole family.
Yeah, a lot of people did, right? And they're not all evil. But if you were the one doing the manipulating, doing the fucking lying on behalf of the oil companies and the Bush administration and Dick Cheney, then yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, bro. I don't want to hear this shit. Specifically, and we don't even have to go that far back to find, terrible, terrible sins in the history of Tucker Carlson. You can look back at his fucking most recent tenure on Fox News. He would spread the most deranged, fucking unimaginable, vicious, racist, conspiratorial bullshit on a nightly basis. I mean, a lot of people credit him for popularizing the whole great replacement talking point.
Oh, yeah. And he was also really early on in the whole like Steven Crowder thing. Like, how Steven Crowder would actually go to college campuses. Tucker used to have college students call into his show. I remember, Salisa, my partner, she went on Tucker's show way back in the day when she was like 20 years old because he thought that he was going to be able to bully her and humiliate her on live air. She held her own and had, a great performance. But that's the kind of guy he is. He doesn't actually he wants to get young people. He wants to get people that he thinks he can push around. He's never actually interested in having a real debate. And if you guys want to look up another nugget from Tucker Carlson's lore, he had a dude from the EU on one time to talk about climate change. And that guy stomped his ass so bad, Tucker didn't even air the fucking segment.
Yeah. And speaking of that appearance fight from Salisa, I'm pretty sure in that one, it was about like police brutality or something. And he was like, well, you want to say the police are racist. So look at all the white people they also kill. They kill more white people than black people. And I'm sitting there watching that like, what, so as a white person, I'm supposed to like the police more now because they kill more people that look like me? Like what I guess I'm going to defend the cops now because I found out they kill more white people too. Oh, they just kill everyone. Yay.
Yeah.
I'm pro cop now.
Fucking insane.
He described like that rage obscures, and I think maybe it's designed to obscure the reality of like physical degradation all around us.
All around us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is kind of the point. I think it is to some extent intentional. But what? Since you do live in that world and have for so long, as rationally as you can, clinically as you can you explain what they're worried about?
Well, I mean, I think that their heart is in the right place.
Yeah. I'm giving them the presumption of good faith for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, when some rich lady yells at me in the ski lift line, she thinks I'm racist. I know.
Oh my God. All the black servants are really nice to me, but sometimes a rich lady of the ski lift will yell at me. That's literally the worldview of the man we're listening. Like, that's literally what shapes his worldview. The black people he meets hug him because they're his fucking servants, and the other rich white people he occasionally has to get yelled at by her in the line at the ski lift. Like, that's literally the fucking his experience that he's articulating. It's crazy that he can't even pretend to be a normal person.
He's supposed to be this like average Joe, like I represent the common man. He's talking about the fucking ski line. Hello. Oh my gosh. Like, I remember watching Tucker Carlson being like, inflation's getting really high. This man can't even afford to get his bacon, and it's just like, bro, you're so out of touch with the cost of bacon is going up. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, no, you don't care about the cost of bacon. It's never impacted your life one time. You're talking about the ski lift. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And also, bro, it's like, if you really were interested in how liberals actually feel and how leftists actually feel, then you wouldn't have invited on fucking Ana Kasparian to, like, pretend to fucking, understand whatever they're upset about. You would actually have one of them on. You would actually have a real leftist on your show, not fucking Ana Kasparian. And you would actually ask that leftist, hey, let me know how you feel. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. If you're really interested in understanding this half of the country that, again, you claim to care about understanding, then why don't you have one of them on your fucking show? Why does this guy never actually debate someone? Much like Anna, right? They want to fetishize debate and discourse and disagreement while staying in their fucking echo chamber and never talking to someone who actually straight up fucking disagrees with them. It's crazy, at least to their left.
Yeah.
They always say that. But then there's also, like, there's a fascist takeover imminent. Is that part of it? Or what is the word?
Well, I mean, okay, let's talk about the fascist takeover, because there is a part of me that's a little bit worried about that.
I am too.
Okay.
I am too.
Okay. So
not just part of me, a lot of me.
And look, I don't know what's in those women's heads. So I just don't understand them. So I feel weird talking about what they're thinking and what motivates them.
Every person should be worried about the centralization of power and the use of technology to strip basic rights from citizens.
Yeah.
So they do think there's a fascist takeover. They're like laughing at liberals who think there's a fascist takeover, but then in the next breath being like, everyone should be concerned about the fascist takeover. Don't get me wrong. Let's all be very concerned about the fascist takeover, but just not in a triggered liberal way. If you code as an SJW, then it's cringe. But if we talk about it like this and the fucking centralization of power or whatever, then it's very legitimate.
Well, it's not Donald Trump. Okay, it's the mechanisms of power that are concentrating, right? And I think that's Tucker's primary distinction right here. He doesn't want, like, oh, those triggered libs are worried about Donald Trump, but I don't remember them being nearly so concerned about it when it was the Joe Biden administration that was deeply concentrating power. I'm always concerned with the concentration of power unless I'm lying about the results of an election. Yeah.
Everybody.
Like, the Palantir stuff concerns me a little bit.
Anytime, I mean, the technology, not just...
You took money from the guy that founded it and renamed your studio after another one of his fucking companies, and I don't think you're that concerned.
Palantir, but all the emerging technology, supercomputing, AI, all of this stuff, facial recognition, like, it could be used to enslave the population really easily.
Totally. Yeah.
So I don't know why. I mean, everyone should be freaked out.
Be worried about that, definitely. I'm also a little bit worried about, and I don't know how large this group of people in America happens to be, but you're hearing from them more and more. This idea that, no, we need to move toward a post-liberal and, like, post-liberal democracy. You know what I'm saying? Like a rejection of the democratic process overall. Like Curtis Yarvin is one of the figures who's been kind of preaching about this. He sounds really dumb, so I don't know how seriously people really take him. But he purports to want a monarchy in this country, which sounds insane.
I'm opposed to monarchy. And
well, let me go ahead and defend Curtis Yarvin. See, this is where Tucker's going to show his true colors.
The truth, however, is that the trends you're describing have totally discredited liberal democracy. That's my fear. And I think maybe it's intentional.
Oh, for sure it's intentional.
So chaotic that we beg for a dictator. I kind of feel like that's happening.
I hope people aren't begging for a dictator because you don't like the fact that the government isn't really representing your interests right now. Get a load of what it's going to be like to live under a dictator where you have no say at all.
No, I'm talking more about like quality of life questions. Like if there are home invasions going on and the homeowner does.
It's like the butchering of the FDR quote about how fascism comes, when people can't feed their children. It's like if a fascist is trying to explain how fascism arrives because they don't want to actually prescribe any real solutions like FDR did.
Doesn't have any expectation the cops are going to save him. That kind of stuff, that's not theoretical. That's like, that induces panic.
True, yeah.
It makes me uncomfortable even thinking about it, so if you have a lot more of that, people were like, I don't really give a shit about voting.
Let's talk about home invasion and burglary. Did you see about what happened with Glorilla, Gavin?
No.
She's a famous rapper. She lives in Atlanta, right? Her home got burglarized. And
is she a Nazi now?
No, she's a...
I know, I was just joking. Tucker saying that's the human response, the natural human response to being victimized in any way.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Either way, she calls the cops because she got her fucking home burglarized. They found a zip of weed there, and then they arrested her for felony drug possession. Didn't do fuck all to find the people that burglarized her house.
Damn.
What I care about is my kids not being killed.
Yeah, actually, you make a really good point, which is why it's so important for Americans who value liberal democracy to really start thinking seriously about saving it.
Exactly.
Well, now we're gonna blame.
That's what I want.
People but don't you do give a fuck about this country for not preserving it hard enough, not being able to fight back against the fucking rising fascistic tide that you're fucking helping to contribute to, Anna, by giving them blowjobs and drinking beers with them and shitting all over anyone who's actually anti-fascist. Yeah, but now let's turn around and shame the fucking people who actually do give a fuck about democracy and who actually do give a fuck about America because they're not trying hard enough to fight back. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Feel like when people are like if you were on a plane flying across the Pacific that dropped 20,000 feet in a minute and you're saying your prayers, maybe you're an atheist, you're just saying prayers anyway, couldn't control yourself. And what would you be willing to do or give up in exchange for not dying? In other words, if you're totally panicked, you're in free fall in a commercial airliner, God, I will do anything. Like that's kind of what is happening with crime, I think.
Yeah. And not just crime.
Not just crime.
Yeah.
What? Crime is so bad that people have no excuse but to become a Nazi. What the fuck? Also, if the plane was falling like from the sky and it was in free fall, that wouldn't automatically make me cool with Nazis or like fascism. I wouldn't be like, we need a strongman dictator who hates the Jews to save this plane. Like we need a fucking classic archetypal fascistic character, a real throwback to the previous fucking century. We need that guy. Like what? What are these excuses for the fucking public's embrace of fascism?
Every time Tucker lets you see into his mind a little bit, I am just like, oh my God, it's even worse than I thought.
And it is just like, yeah,
right.
Yup.
Yeah,
like, briefly tried to fucking raise an alarm about the Curtis Yarvin and the monarchist shit, and that is increasingly prevalent on the other side of the aisle. Or on her side of the aisle now, depending, on where she actually is. But
rolls over immediately.
Immediately rolls over as soon as Tucker makes an excuse for these fucking fascist pieces of shit.
Look out the door if you hear an be there, sir. The vanguard will be there, sir. The vanguard will be there, sir. The vanguard will be there. Be there. The vanguard.